As the product organization grows, the dynamics amongst each of the product managers and how they manage their roadmap along with the overall strategy becomes really, really important. Here's how we do that at SafetyCulture.
I view relationship building as part of my job. And as a product manager, if you're not viewing it that way, you're not doing it right.
As a PM, your principal role is to create multiple relationships with different stakeholders, but also with people in your team.
Meaningful collaboration and alignment on where you're going don't just happen overnight. It happens over time because people have the conversations that need to be had, and they have them again, and they have them again, and they have them again. And over time, you find that you start to say more and more the same things. But also over time, you find that you trust each other more, that you know what this person's good at and what that person's good at, and you know where you disagree, and you know the value of that disagreement.
We sync up quite often at the beginning and the end of the week just to talk about goals, what we're trying to achieve, and then what we have achieved. And then once a week at the end of the week, we sync up with the wider team, product marketing and design, to say these are the things that we've worked on together, shout outs to each other and praise for what we've delivered.
A good way to get the most out of your PMs, having a simple agenda on a meeting. So the person that calls the meeting, one, needs to have a really solid understanding of what they want to get out of it, and two, communicate that to the other PMs in a pretty simple way.
The funny thing about it is that people tend to think that if you come out of a workshop without a deliverable, then you wasted your time. But if you have actual conversations where people express their real opinion and you challenge each other, that's always valuable. It will always lead to a better insight, a better solution, or at least more alignment.
It's really important for product managers to align their roadmap so I don't end up running ahead and not being able to release something. As much as we are separate units and we build our own products, it's a lot of value to bounce ideas off some of the group PMs, some of the seniors, and even my engineering manager to ensure that each of our individual products are a success. I really love whiteboarding. We always just try to coordinate to meet in the office and then just grab a whiteboard and do a whiteboarding session to get the ideas out. It's hard to be creative when you're not in the office, like over video. We can use Miro boards. It just doesn't work as smoothly as when you're in person.
I don't think there's anything that quite replaces face-to-face, but I think I'm learning more that face-to-face is good for specific things. So, sensitive conversations, relationship building, and urgent things. Whiteboarding tools can be really useful for when we're talking about software concepts or features even. It's not something that exists in the world that you can point to. It's not a shared thing that has existed in the past that we can all have an agreed language around. It's something that we're just inventing right now. And so trying to make sure that everyone is thinking of the same thing when you say that word, whatever you're calling your feature, is extremely tricky. And so things like whiteboarding tools can be extremely useful for people being able to sketch out visually how it feels to them.
Personally, I really, really enjoy using Miro, not only for product managers to communicate, but your cross-functional team. I use Miro really regularly to create story maps with my designers and developers to align on the release of certain features.
Understanding how people like to be communicated is really important. Sometimes it's nice to get out of the office, to go for a walk and talk. When you're in the office, you feel your ideas are a bit restricted, and so doing a walk around the block, grabbing a coffee together, sometimes the best ideas come from that.
So I think conflict's a really interesting one. It's really important to have strong opinions. You need to trust and respect your peers, ultimately. Have an opinion, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you need to be stubborn about it and never change your mind. If someone comes with a particularly justified position and you can see the merit in it, there's absolutely no shame in being like, all right, I had this strong opinion and now I've heard this and I'm absolutely in this camp now. So I think that tension between design and engineering, product and marketing, like wherever that is, I think that's healthy tension and it only produces better outcomes.
Consider spending time with your peers part of your job. And the amount of trust you've built with them is extremely important no matter what position you're in.
I think when you're trying to take a step back and assess, is the product evolving in the way that we want? At the end of the year, that's naturally when we do it. It's very helpful to reflect.